Sport on 4 is sponsored by 888.com, the world's online casino and poker room.
Hello and welcome to Channel 4's highlights of the 2005 World Touring Car Championship. My name is Simon Potter and I'll be guiding you through all the action from the final two races of this season's competition, rounds 19 and 20. The World Touring Car entourage has moved to the Far East for the final two races of the 2005 season. The conclusion of this year's Drivers Championship will be fought out on the street circuit of Macau, the former Portuguese colony which is now part of the People's Republic of China. And who better to tell us about this track than the Macanese driver, André Couto.
Well, I think it's the best race of the whole season. So, especially the final round in Macau, it's something special. For Macau, it's very good to host the World Touring Car Championship. I think it's so special because it's a very fast track and with walls in between. You know, you have no room to make any mistake. And the layout of the circuit is really fantastic. I think it's the best track in the world.
Britain's Andy Priaulx and Dirk Müller of Germany are the two men in the frame for the world title, and despite their experience, they know just what a challenge awaits them on the streets of Macau.
It's a street circuit, and we have not had a street circuit this year. So some drivers have not been to Macau before, and it's a circuit where you really need to have knowledge to understand the idiosyncrasies of Macau. You know, the grip improves, where not to make a mistake, where you can pass, when to push, when not to push. There's so many variables that it really is a circuit you need to at least come to once.
So here's confirmation of the standings going into the day's racing. Germany's Dirk Müller with 86 points, holding the slenderest of championship leads over Andy Priaulx. He's just 1 point back. Fabrizio Giovanardi is only 5 back of Müller and is still fighting for the 2005 title. Britain's James Thompson will be hoping to improve on his current position of 6th overall. So let's get over to our commentary team of Martin Haven and David Leslie for the first race of the day from China.
Priaulx's plan was to post a fast lap as early as qualifying allowed, and it worked. His time on his first flying lap was never beaten, as crashes disrupted the session, much as he expected they might.
You know, it's been a long season. I'm looking forward to seeing the end of it, to be honest. Ending in November and starting in almost January with testing. But it's a pleasure to be driving a car that's so competitive at this stage of the season. And, you know, it's a world championship at stake here, and it'd be great to win it, but I'm not taking anything for granted.
Local knowledge helped André Couto to second, 0.6 off the pole in a one-off drive for the factory Alfa Romeo team. Priaulx's title rivals, they didn't fare quite so well. Dirk Müller was in 6th, Fabrizio Giovanardi only in 9th. But the BMW team were in good spirits as they celebrated Dirk's 30th.
It doesn't matter if there's a mechanic who has birthday or the driver. I mean, we had lots of parties this year just for the birthday. And this really shows, you know, how deep and how friendly we are working together, and this is something, you know, you really find in Bavaria and which you find in between BMW.
Front row of the grid then, as the 30th birthday celebrations get underway in the Schnitzer camp, has eluded Dirk and teammate Jörg Müller, but Andy Priaulx will start on the front with the Macanese driver André Couto alongside. Top Alphas, Farfus and Tarquini, if Tarquini's practice crash can be repaired to allow him to take the start. Cars on the streets of the Macau, ready for the 19th penultimate race in the World Touring Car Championship, with 3 drivers and 5 points separating the contenders. On pole position, the safest place to be on any street circuit, Andy Priaulx. Dirk Müller, his arch rival, the championship leader, a point ahead of him, starts down in 5th position after Gabriele Tarquini's car was ruled out with damage, receiving good luck wishes from team boss Charlie Lamb, the Schnitzer team engineer. And Fabrizio Giovanardi, 8th place on the grid. benefiting slightly from the disappearance of teammate Gabriele Tarquini, whose practice crash caused the car to be too badly damaged to start. Ready for the start of the penultimate race of the season. Priaulx on pole position, alongside him Andre Coto. Good start from the Seats. That's Ricard Rydell moving up quickly. And Augusto Farfus in third place, looking back from Priaulx's car. Green colours of the flag of Macau adorning the one-off drive for Andre Coto. Comes around the outside on the run from Mandarin up to Lisboa and takes the lead with no penalty weight. 60 kilos on Priaulx's car, making his car heavier and slower along the straights. And indeed, it looks as though the second Alpha trying to challenge, but Priaulx keeping a defensive and tight inside line, safely through the first corner. But behind, there's trouble. Jörg Müller misjudges it, clatters into Rob Huff's car as he gets bounced off the tyre barriers, and the track instantly blocked. Red flags flutter before the leaders even get halfway around the city streets. And a 20-car plus pile-up. Muller's car quickly winched out of the way. Everybody else trying to get through and rejoin the queue, because as they get to the start line, that's how they will be restarted. So a chance for teams to check the cars over. Ready to go once more. They will be led off by the safety car. One more lap will be added to the race distance as per the new regulations. And when they get the green once more, it's Coto that leads, Farfus in third place in the second Alpha. But Priaulx's made a very good job at the restart. He's not worrying too much about Farfus, concentrating instead on the man in the lead of the race. And there's a move there from Dirk Müller. He's trying to come alongside the Chevrolet in front of him, and he's got the run there that he needed on Alain Menu, and I don't think Menu will contest that. And Coto has put himself off and rolls back into Giovanardi's way, and somehow Giovanardi and everybody else threading their way through. Well, Coto, David, one glance too many mirrors at Priaulx, and he went off on his own.
Yes, Priaulx just put himself in that position. He looked as though he was going to go down the inside. Coto obviously looked at his mirrors, braked a little too late, couldn't get it stopped, straight into the tyre barrier, and that's handed the lead of the race to Andy Priaulx. Andy was on pole position. This is where he wanted to be. This is where he's going to be happiest during this first race here at Macau.
Well, Giovanardi now up to 7th as a result of Coto going, but crucially, he gets one more point. Priaulx gets a few more points for going from 2nd to 1st. And, of course, Dirk Müller also pulled off that move, so instead of being 6th, he is now 4th, and that is bad news for Priaulx as well as Giovanardi, because he closes up a little bit on the race leader. Don't forget, Müller is the points leader by 1 over Priaulx, by 5 over Giovanardi. Neither of Müller's rivals can afford to finish behind him. They must both get in front of him, if not in this, in the other race. Coto then into Lisboa. Just outbrakes himself in the most classic manner, but look at the way that he rolls back. Get your foot on the brake, man. Nearly took out Giovanardi. Giovanardi got through there by a whisker, and Farfus all over the back of the BMW in front of him. This is the view back from our race leader, Andy Priaulx. Farfus in 2nd, Rydell in 3rd. In fact, it's not Farfus behind a BMW we saw there, because it wasn't Priaulx's BMW, it was the all-white one of Dirk Müller. And does that mean that Giovanardi's got past Larini as well? I think it probably does. Let's have a look as they come to the line. No, he hasn't.
No, we've got two Chevrolets nose to tail slightly further back there in 5th and 6th place, but Andy Priaulx out front with Farfus, and he's not having a good time as Mr. Coto, is he?
Well, the front end of the car was pretty much monumentally stoved in. I don't suppose that the braking was doing too well. He may well have gone off there on his own fluids. Across the line then, after the end of lap 3, Andy Priaulx from Augusto Farfus by a Nats, with Rydell in 3rd place, a former winner of this race, Ricard Rydell, as was Andre Coto in Formula 3 cars. But look at this, here comes the unenviable or welcome sight, perhaps, of Augusto Farfus looking to make a move on Priaulx, the race leader, and all that quick dry out there. Oh, that's Giovanardi! Oh, that was close. Garcia's looking to make a move up the inside as they go up towards, well, the lead is climbing San Francisco Hill now, heading to Maternity Bend. And then into the Solitude S's, named after the famous German or Bavarian Grand Prix track in the forests around Solitude. Heading downhill now, down Faraway Hill.
I think you see just how much quicker the BMW and Alfa Romeo, they're pulling away from that Seat down the straight. We've always known that Seat doesn't have quite the power of these other two cars. But look at that, just straight past the BMW goes the Alfa Romeo. That's how much power that's got down the straight line. And we've seen that off the start line when Couto went past the BMW, but Andy's all over the back of that Alfa Romeo. Maybe he's going to try and do the same thing to him, just harrow the back of him, and hopefully another Alfa Romeo will make a mistake. Each of them know they have to get through this race, they have to finish this race to get some good points before they can then enter the second race and really try and clinch this championship.
So Augusto Farfus Jr. leads for Alfa Romeo, and Andy Priaulx right behind him. Ricard Rydell in third, Dirk Muller fourth. The pale blue Chevrolet, that's Nicola Larini. Not quite sure why we lost Alan Menu, but he's down in 9th place now behind Duncan Heisman in the second RBM car. And again, Priaulx's got a good run going, but again, as they come up towards Lisboa, with the slippery surface flags out, it's going to be impossible to go around the outside. Car tried to cut back to the inside, but I'm sure that was Farfus having an extra stand on the brakes there to really make sure he hogged the inside line and Priaulx could not cut back. And again, up San Francisco Hill, he's all over the Alfa Romeo. But David, unless something happens to Farfus, this is the way it's going to finish. He can hold off Priaulx from here as long as he keeps his nerve.
That's what he's got to do. He's going to take his own line through all these twisty bits, and there's nothing that Andy Priaulx can do on this part of the circuit. When he gets onto the straight, he knows he's got the power to be able to sort of stay out front, and if he sticks to the inside line for that Lisboa corner, life is very difficult for Andy Priaulx.
Now this is exactly what all of the Alfa Romeo drivers will have hoped to do, get in front of any of the BMW Championship contenders. And Priaulx again taking a very different line, making sure that there is white and green in the mirrors of the Alfa Romeo driver every single time he glances up. Augusto Farfus will be under a lot of pressure here, but time is running out for Priaulx. At the moment, the points as they are, Priaulx on 93, Dirk on 91, but we have one more race to go with Giovanardi, who would be ahead of both Muller and Priaulx on the grid, then better placed to try and recoup that points loss. So it's a real battle of nerves. Priaulx coming here with the stated intention of just racing as hard, fast and fair as he could. One of the things that I think was rather unfair is that Alfa Romeo were able to give a drive to Andre Coto. No problem with that, local hero, why not? But that Coto came in and with no penalty weight whatsoever was able to put his car in the front of the grid, and with no penalty weight was able to take points away from the championship contending BMWs. There used to be a rule in the European Touring Car Championship that a first-time racer who wasn't signed up for the whole season had to come in with maximum penalty ballast, and I think that should be the case again, so you don't get lots of dodgy flyers coming in the last couple of races. 7 down of 9, stroke 10, depending on who you believe. And Augusto Farfus still narrowly ahead of Andy Priaulx, and Priaulx, David, as close as he's been all the way through here, through Mandarin. He's really pushing hard.
He knows it. He's done this 3 or 4 laps now, right in behind the car, pulls out to the outside, and all that Farfus has got to do is go nice and slowly around that corner, take the inside line. That's what he did. Look, he stuck to the inside line, and there's nothing that Andy can do to get past him. And that's where all of a sudden it all slows up. They had a bit of a gap on the Seat when they go down the straights, and all of a sudden within those 2 corners at the end there, that Seat is right up again behind Andy Priaulx. But right behind there's a big queue of cars. There's Muller, there's Larini, there's Giovanardi. Giovanardi's now trying very hard to get past that blue Chevrolet.
And he needs to as well, because he's losing this tactical battle despite Farfus trying to hold up the BMWs. Now we saw a big lock up there from Farfus. He got over the brow at Faraway Hill. Andy Priaulx flashing the headlamps on full beam, and did you see he almost had a full overlap between Lisboa and the right-hander that leads them on to San Francisco Hill. he very, very strongly got alongside, and Farfus is really feeling the pressure. And Priaulx here is trying to push again as they come down Moorish Hill, and again a big lock-up from Farfus. And David, of course, the heat and all of the effort that's building up in the tyres, in the front tyres only of this Alfa Romeo, are going to start to tell. The longer the race is, the more pressure Priaulx can put on, the worse Farfus's hard-working front tyres will be compared to those on the BMW of Priaulx. And that's what Priaulx's got to try and exploit, really pile on the pressure and force Farfus into locking the wheels and overcooking his tyres, and then hopefully somewhere not being able to stop, and hopefully then Priaulx being able to miss him.
That's the idea, but it's going to be very difficult indeed, because if Farfus sticks to his line through these twisty bits, then there's not a lot that Andy Priaulx can do. And then we know, we've seen it lap after lap. The minute they get onto the straight, it has got very good performance in that Alfa Romeo, and it really has the legs along the straight. So Andy just has to get tucked in behind it and do its best to try and get past. But every time you come back down to that corner, that Lisboa corner, Farfus takes the inside line. All he's got to do is take that inside line, and that stops you from getting past. You can't go around the outside there.
Dirk Muller very close to the barriers through Arbend there, very close, and he's got Nicola Larini all over him. I tell you what, Farfus can pull away from Priaulx with only 20 kilos, but look at Giovanardi, lap after lap, he can't get by Larini. The engine brake that has been given to the Chevrolets because of their older style engine has really helped. And look at Larini, he's all over the back of Muller. He really wants to make a move, and he's just left Giovanardi, I mean, leading an Alfa Romeo behind us. Priaulx again gets the overlap on the run up to Lisboa. Oh, and Larini, don't punt him off. For goodness sake, I know he's a former teammate of Giovanardi, but he's not in a red car. He doesn't have to subserve himself to Giovanardi this time. That was close though for Dirk Muller, a little too close. And Priaulx that time, that's what he's got to do, is make the pass before they get to Lisboa. Somehow, I don't know how. Looking back from Dirk, there's Nicola Larini, Giovanardi behind them.
And Larini really has got nothing to lose, because, you know, he's not in a championship position. What he's got to do is try and get the best possible finish for his team, the Chevrolet team. They're brand new into World Touring Cars this year, and for them to be up fighting at the front like this come the last race of the season, that's really a big step forward from them from when they started. They weren't very good at the beginning of the season, but now they're really going quite well. So he needs to hang on to the back of that BMW to say, look, we can do what they can do.
Time to take a quick break, but we'll be back shortly for the completion of race 1. Welcome back to highlights of the 2005 World Touring Car Championship.
View back from Dirk Muller of Nicola Larini, and off goes Giovanardi. Giovanardi has crashed. Giovanardi, the third man in the championship triumvirate, is out of the race, and his weekend is over. Look at the mess at the front of the car. The number 6 has gone off very heavily indeed. That is down at the bottom of Moorish Hill, I think, down towards, they head down there towards Donna Maria. That is the Moorish Hill corner, and Monica Sipp sees her title hopes gone. And then Nicola Larini just ahead of him. Giovanardi just losing concentration there. He's tried to move the car. Look, he's trying to drive it somewhere, and I think that's probably just to try and get it out of the way. He must know, David, that the car from that impact is going no further.
You can see there's a massive impact on the front, and there's also some damage on the back. And I'm just wondering who was behind him in order that, you know, they didn't sort of catch the back of him. So the two guys behind were Garcia and Heisman, and we're not sure, but there's the car. He has got it out of the way, but look at that. That's where he's gone into the front. There is no front wheel. There is no front suspension. There's nothing on the left-hand side front of that car, and he's dragging it round to get it away from where it is. Maybe he feels he can fix it. Maybe he doesn't realise how much damage there is, but also in the back.
He does now.
It's a big hit in the back as well. Yeah. He's dropping fluid all the way around the circuit as he's going around the circuit.
And that must be oil, because it would have come out all in one go if it was water. Now again a move from Andy Priaulx. He's trying to make the move early. You saw Monica Sipp's very chatty on the radio as Dirk Muller looks for third place from Rickard Rydell. Couldn't quite do it there, and Priaulx didn't have enough of an overlap on Augusto Farfus. Well, Farfus now free to race for himself, because there is no more Giovanardi. David, it would take them all week to repair that. Tarquini's car seemed from the outside to be less damaged, and they couldn't repair that. They've got lots of spares now, maybe from Tarquini's car and all the others that they will cannibalise, but I don't think they've got the time, and frankly, there's no chance in race 2 that Giovanardi could get enough points to win the title now anyway. It is all done for Alfa Romeo as far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned. Giovanardi 12 points adrift at this stage of Andy Priaulx. It's now down to Mario Tyson's 2 men, to Andy Priaulx in 2nd place and Dirk Muller in 4th, to duke it out as last year in the final race between themselves.
That's right, it's just down to these 2 BMW guys, but we did say that the back of Giovanardi's car also had a hit, and the car that's gone missing is Heisman's car. Now, Heisman was the guy who's in this weekend for the first time. He is with the RBM team, the team that runs Andy Priaulx. He's Andy Priaulx's teammate, but it looks like his weekend is now over as well, because he must have hit the back of Giovanardi's car, and he's now disappeared off the time scoring board as well.
Well, that's very, very unfortunate indeed. Clearly, we didn't see the start of the accident, only the end of it, but there will be an awful lot of angry words in the Alfa Romeo camp if Andy Priaulx's teammate for the weekend has punted off Giovanardi. Imagine the boot being on the other foot. Imagine that if Priaulx was punted off by Giovanardi's teammate for the weekend, Andre Cotto, then everybody would be immediately pointing the fingers, and the question mark there then over Heisman as to exactly what he thought he was doing. But Farfus now starting to pull away once more from Priaulx. It will be a victory in the World's Touring Car Championship for Augusto Farfus, his first World Championship race win of any kind. 4th place is the top of the blue Chevrolet squad. And that is Nicola Larini, Alain Menu in 5th, and there is Dirk Muller smoking across the line. Garcia coming out of the final corner behind him as he pushed him towards the line and then leaving him to make it under his own steam. Dr. Mario Tyson, the head of BMW Motorsport, on the Schnitzer pit wall trying to find out what has happened. The team very, very disconsolate. No points for Muller, and that means it's going to be a really tough job in race 2 if they can fix whatever the problem was with his car. The Schnitzer boys not looking happy, nor is the driver. Dirk Muller can't believe it after having the championship taken away from him by Priaulx last year when they tied on points. Priaulx had won more races. Well, there is Farfus, the race winner here then. Priaulx in 2nd place, and a big haul of points, very important for him. 8 points from the first race. So he gets congratulations from the FIA media delegate, Fabio Ravioli, and offers his to Farfus for a well-driven, cleanly fought race.
I'm very happy because this is my first win, especially in this hard track. I think it's the hardest track in the world. And this is the last race in the championship, my first time in the street track, so I'm quite happy. I have to say thanks for the team. They did a very good job during this weekend, so I have now to concentrate to try to do a very good result in the 2nd race.
Some small crumb for Alfa is the race win.
I was trying hard to pass Farfus. He was really quick down past Mandarin, but was trying to be sensible, needed to finish the race, and obviously we've got one more race to go. I have to just try and score some points.
Well, he now is 7 points ahead of Dirk Muller with only 10 for a win.
I think it was Nicola Larini. He was really hitting me big time in the rear. I almost lost the car over there, and the result of that impact was drive shaft breaking in the last lap, also out of Melco. So I just came on over start and finish with one drive shaft and really slow, and I lost lots of positions and finished 10th.
Time now for the 2nd race of the day and the final one of the 2005 season. Remember that the top 8 who finished the first race will start in reverse order on the grid for this one. Let's get back to our commentary team of Martin Haven and David Leslie.
Pole position for this 20th race of the season, Peter Terting in the Seat Leon, alongside him fellow race winner James Thompson from Great Britain, who will join the Seat team for 2006. Duncan Heisman, Alain Menu on row 2, Nicola Larini, Ricard Rydell, row 3. Championship points leader Andy Priaulx 7th on the grid, and his only rival Dirk Muller starts in 10th position. Now there's bizarre hole on the grid. It looks like Duncan Heisman's car is missing. And that is a dramatic... No, it's not. Heisman is there on row 2. It's Antonio Garcia now. Away they go for the final time of the season. And Andy Priaulx, with the green flashes on his car, must avoid trouble, must avoid any first corner collision, and there might well be coming up such problems. Heisman gets ahead of the front row starters. Heisman leads, and it'll be Thompson on the inside from second on the grid that gets ahead of poleman Terting. Priaulx on the outside of 2 Chevy Lachettis. He's trying to come around both Nicola Larini and Alain Menu, and they will of course have been asked by Ray Malek to stay out of championship trouble. Priaulx looking inside, but he is in 5th place as they get safely into Lisboa. He's through, and so too is Dirk Muller. Dirk Muller has got safely through the first corner and ahead, I think, of Antonio Garcia.
And it looks like one of the Chevrolets, whichever one was up front, just caught the barrier going through, and whether that's done any real damage to his car or not, we'll have to wait and see.
Duncan Heisman leads. 9 laps racing here will decide the World Touring Car Champion, and both our contenders get through. There is Dirk Muller. He's right behind Rickard Rydell. He's only 3 cars behind Andy Priaulx, but passing Priaulx is not enough. He must win the race. For Dirk Muller now, there is no caution to be had here. There is no safety margin. He must win this race to take the title. He must take even the slightest whiff of opportunity. But Heisman, with no success ballast, with no penalty for being a late arrival to the championship, and in a 320i run by the team that also runs our championship leader, is checking out and heading to be first in the queue for the airport check-in. Second is James Thompson for Alfa Romeo. Third is Peter Terting in the Seat Leon. But at the moment, Alfa Romeo are not likely to win this final race, because unless he makes a big mistake, David, Heisman has got this one made in the shade.
That's right, he's made a very good start. We knew the BMWs are always quick off the line. He was on the second row, front-wheel drive cars at the front, and straight away he was in there into the lead, and he's just now pulling himself away in order to try and get that lead. He's done well here in the past. He's done exceptionally well here in the past. He's won this race previously, and he wants to come back and say, look, I am still very good and I can win these races. And remember, he did win a race already this year for BMW with the Nürburgring 24 Hours, a car he was sharing with 3 other drivers. Very well respected BMW driver, not to do the whole World Championship, but certainly brought in to try and help at the end of this season. And they're back in 5th place is Andy Priaulx. Andy will be sitting tight, trying not to make any mistakes, trying not to get involved in anybody else. He will be trying also to keep away from Dirk Muller, wherever Dirk is. Dirk is 2 places behind him, just behind one of the Chevrolets. Remember, he was saying it's one of the Chevrolets that touched the back of him that caused him the problems in the first race. So maybe if he does get to that Chevrolet, he might not be so keen on it.
And it is that Chevrolet that's dragging its nose. Nicola Larini's car damaged at the first corner as Menu tries to come around the outside of Rickard Rydell, and does so. Oh, and Menu puts it in the barriers right in front of Priaulx. Priaulx is going to have to look to the inside, can't go through, and he's got Danger Man Larini behind him, who has already proved, oh, and that's one of the independent trophy BMWs. At the back of the field, and the timing and scoring shows, well, it was Giuseppe Ciro, I think, who started at the back. That might even be Stefano D'Aste's car. It is Stefano D'Aste's car, and he's, I think, done enough damage to it now that it may not move. Look, it's wobbling on bent wheels. Yeah, is that Rickard Rydell, the Seat that just went by? Has he been into the pits to serve a jump start penalty? I think he might well have done.
We did see a sign saying jump start penalty for car 8, and it looks like he's been in the pits already. He's already got a 1 beside his name for saying 1 pit stop. So he's taken that pit stop very early on to try and make the best use of it. Not a good start for Rickard Rydell.
No, not at all. So 8 laps to go then. Duncan Heisman leading, James Thompson, Peter Terting in 3rd, Alain Menu in 4th, Andy Priaulx in 5th. But has Menu's car suffered any long-term damage from biffing the barriers? Not, it seems, at the moment. Nicola Larini 6th. Dirk Muller now 7th and in the points with Carl Rosenblatt, top Indy driver behind him, and Augusto Farfus in 9th place. Alex Zanardi 10th. So Rickard Rydell has been into the pits. No chance of a podium for him. but can Tomo win this race ahead of Duncan Heisman? Heisman shared that Nürburgring 24-hour race-winning car with Boris Said from the US Series, and also one of the drivers in that car, Pedro Lamy, and of course Andy Priaulx, the fourth man in that Nürburgring 24-hour lineup. But it wasn't one of these 2-litre cars, that was a V8 GT3R, the V8 version of the M3. Priaulx then now latching onto the back of Peter Terting, and that means Menu has gone adrift. So Menu has gone adrift, and that means that Priaulx's gone up one, and so too has Dirk Muller then. He's now in 6th place.
No, it looks like Menu's actually moved up ahead of
Indeed, yes, you're
two
right.
Chevrolets are still there, so Menu's moved ahead, and Menu's now hit that tyre wall on the outside of Lisboa.
So where's
twice.
Thompson? Thompson is the one who's gone missing then, because there is no red car behind Heisman's car. There is Menu with
Thompson's
Priaulx
gone.
and Larini. Yeah, so Thompson has gone. And is that Thompson's red car we can see struggling back there, or is that Farfus?
I think that could probably be Farfus, because see...
Oh, and off goes Dirk Muller. That's it, championship over. Andy Priaulx will win the World Touring Car Championship 2005 as Muller skates off at the Lisboa corner. The crane will come in to end his race weekend. Charlie Lamb there on the left in the headset will not win the driver's crown this year either, having come to the last race as the championship leader. And there is Andy Priaulx's wife, and I'm sure Dirk Muller's wife will be in tears as well, but for diametrically opposite reasons. The whole Priaulx family there. His father Graham before him, a British hill climb champion, and from the Schnitzer team pit wall off goes Dr. Mario Tyson to offer his congratulations, because no matter what happens now to Priaulx's car, if he doesn't finish, it don't matter. Priaulx won't know yet. He will know, of course, because Bart Mampai would have told him on the radio, Muller is out, Muller is out. But Priaulx won't have seen yet the damage, and he probably won't even see Muller's car, David. It'll be gone before he gets onto the straight next time round, but he is the champion.
That's right, and Muller's car, you can see the corner work is already connecting the straps to it to lift it out of the way so the race can continue. But yeah, I'm sure Bart Mampai has been on the radio to say to Andy exactly what's happening. So Andy has got a race to himself. He can do whatever he wants in this race now.
He has got one more move to make. If he can pass Alain Menu for second, then Heisman, I'm sure, will allow him to win this race and the championship in style. Duncan Heisman leads the 20th round of the World Touring Car Championship, and as Fabrizio Giovanardi in round 19, Dirk Muller in round 20 has put his own car into the barriers and taken himself out of any hope of winning the championship. Our new champion is Andy Priaulx, who runs third in this race and is catching Alain Menu down the straight. There is Mario Tyson heading to the RBM crew. He congratulates Bart Mampai, but even as he does so, Bart's desperate to watch the screen to see if Priaulx's putting in a move on Menu, because if he can move up to second place, it's only his teammate Duncan Heisman in front of him. And oh, Larini really fighting hard, desperately hanging on to that position ahead of Peter Terting. He's just got by Terting for that fourth place rather, and Larini, like Menu, desperate to try and win a podium position for Chevrolet. Menu's not going to give this one away easily, David. It would be something for Ray Malloch's team to take a podium away from the last race of the year. They haven't had that much success so far.
No, they haven't. They're new to the series this year, and they really have worked hard to try and get there. And Menu will be desperate to try and keep that BMW behind him. He wants to finish on the podium position. He would much prefer to finish in second place rather than third place. But a podium position was the target for the Chevrolet team when they came into the series this year. They haven't yet made it. This is the last race of the season, the 20th race of the 2005 World Championship. And this is an opportunity for Chevrolet to get onto that podium, to get their target for the year. And if they can do that, it'll be Menu who does it. Now he's right on the ragged edge. We've seen him twice already catch the barrier when he's going round this very tight little circuit, and he is pushing right on the limit, trying to keep it back. And there's Rosenblad with the Crawford car going off, the Crawford Doors sponsored car. So he's got too excited somewhere and managed to make it into the barrier. Hopefully he can get it into reverse, pull it back and then get himself off to a safe place. If not, I'm sure a crane or something will arrive fairly shortly to take it away.
Well, he was in 8th place. There's Eric Nair for the far side there on the Chevrolet pit wall, man who carries the can here, as well as Ray Mallock, of course, on the engineering side. Well, Menu in 2nd place at the moment. David, although Andy Priaulx caught him all the way uphill and down Dale from Lisboa to Fisherman's, from here on, this Chevrolet is looking very good in a straight line. He pulled away from Priaulx last lap, and Priaulx, I think, is going to get dropped here as well. Lap 4 completed of 9, but Priaulx is all over Menu, and for Menu, if he gets past, he can still get that podium finish that the team were aiming for. He'd rather be 2nd than 3rd, but he'd rather be 2nd than in the wall. If Priaulx puts in a really tough move, and Priaulx might do, then I think Menu might have to give best, and Priaulx is all over the back of him. Here he comes, he's trying to use the slipstream, he's got the inside line, the pass is done. Menu won't defend it from there, he can't come around his nose. Priaulx up into 2nd. Now then, Menu still in 3rd place, but his teammate Larini behind. Will they keep team formation? Larini will probably try and keep Peter Turting behind to allow Menu to stay on the podium. But again, the Chevy we know all year's got a great chassis. Menu all over the back of the BMW. It's a very even battle, isn't it?
It is. It's so ebbs and flows depending on which side of the circuit you're on, and the Chevrolet's always had a good chassis. Struggled a little bit on engine power, and about 4 races ago they got a break from the FIA to say they can make a small change to the engine to try and give it a bit more power, and that's made a big difference to the team since then. They really have started to score some points. They don't have a lot of points. They've got 9 points each, both Menu and Larini, but this is what they want. They want this podium finish.
Time for another short break, but we'll be right back with the conclusion of round 18 from China. Welcome back to the 2005 World Touring Car Championship. We're midway through the final round of the season from China, so let's get back to the action.
Now it's Rosenblad with the Crawford car going off, the Crawford doors, sponsored car, so he's got too excited somewhere and managed to make it into the barrier. Hopefully he can get it into reverse, pull it back and then get himself off to a safe place. If not, I'm sure a crane or something will arrive fairly shortly to take it away.
1 Chevrolet, 2 independent BMWs in there, and another BMW. That's not Dirk Muller's car there, is it? And through goes Rickard Rydell. We may have single-digit number of finishers here at the end of this race. Before now, we only had 14 running cars. Duncan Heisman leads the race. Andy Priaulx in 2nd. Alain Menu 3rd. Nicola Larini 4th. 5th place, Peter Turting. 6th place, Augusto Farfus Jr. 7th should be Alex Zanardi with Jorge Kene in 8th. And then it was Bernhard Di Michele, Huff and Sharmak were the 4 cars, I think, that were all tangled up in that big multi-car pile-up. Now, David Leslie, having passed Alain Menu for 2nd, the obvious thinking is that Priaulx will then have his teammate, or Heisman, his teammate in front of him, will pull over, maybe either of his own volition, but maybe after a message from Mario Tyson says, could we please let the champion win the race and do it in great style. The important thing for Priaulx was to drop Menu, because when he had Menu on his back bumper, there was no way that they were going to mess around trying to shuffle positions without that clear air behind him. And Priaulx's done that now on the last lap. He's left Menu a 2.5 seconds behind him.
That's right. It'd be very difficult to start and move around positions if you had somebody else right on your tail, because if you got that wrong, then all of a sudden you could lose both places. You could end up with the Chevrolet out front, and then an even bigger job to try and get past it. Because remember, these races are short races, and there isn't time to sort of mess around, basically. And certainly still on this back part of the circuit, you have to say that this Chevrolet, very, very quick indeed. Yes, the BMWs are quicker in a straight line. They always have been all year long, and what the Chevrolets have. But what we didn't realise early on was that Hoff was up there and running again, so he obviously got his car fixed from that first corner incident in the first lap. But certainly he's been involved in another incident along with a couple of other cars, and there's the yellow flags being waved quite viciously to say, look, there's a problem here. There we come round the corner. Very tight indeed, because all those cars, there's 4 cars now in the wall at the end there.
8 laps completed. We are now hearing, although the lights are still on the safety car, that we will have a 1 lap well, not dash for cash, but race to the checkered flag. So possibly, if they judge the restart right, a chance for the RBM cars either to break clear or to swap positions. So coming towards the final lap of the season, and there is our champion. Final race of the 2005 World Touring Car season. We are heading towards the final lap behind safety car, but we are told that we will go green for one last lap of Macau. Last lap has taken 5.5 minutes compared to the 2 minutes 30 that they're normally taking to get around this track, just over. And now Duncan Heisman and Andy Priaulx, I'm sure like everybody else, the remaining 11 cars will all have been told that they're about to go green, and the pace is picking up as they come downhill towards the scene of the 4-car pile-up at Fisherman's that brought out the safety car in the first place. Green flags, away they go. Out of Arbenne towards the start-finish line, Heisman drills it. Not so quickly away with the 60 kilos maximum success ballast is Andy Priaulx. Alain Menu sticking right to his back bumper in the Chevrolet. Again, weight penalty-free Menu. And so Priaulx must shake off Menu if he's to stand any chance of trying to pass Heisman in the final lap. Menu third, Larini fourth, Terting fifth, sixth place is Farfus, seventh Zanardi, eighth Hane. Those are our points finishers at the moment, and a gap back from Hane to Bernhardt in ninth place. And Priaulx now makes the move. No, he doesn't into Lisboa, not quite close enough to Heisman, but he's all over the back of his teammate, and off has gone one of the Chevys, and that was Larini, surely. And there's a battle behind as Zanardi tries to pass. It was Larini. Straight off a Lisbon. Oh dear, mixed emotions here for the team, the comedy of it and the disappointment of it, not having a 3-4 finish, but they've still got one car in a podium. Never mind that, never mind them, let's see the thank you leaders. So Menu in third, and there was action behind. Farfus is fourth, Zanardi is fifth, and in sixth position Peter Terting. So Farfus and Zanardi both passing the Seat away from the restart, and Priaulx David is placed that if Heisman wants to, coming down towards Fisherman's or down towards our out of Fisherman's maybe, he can let him go by. Here, not the place to do it. On the way down towards the checkered flag, he can pull over and let Priaulx win the race and the championship in style.
That's right, these two have now on this lap managed to pull themselves away. Menu was right in there in third place, and I think Larini was trying very much to hold the rest of them back in order to give Menu a better space, and unfortunately he was trying a bit too hard, locked the car up, went straight on at that corner, and that put everyone a bit further back away from Menu. So you can see Andy checking his mirrors, see where the other car is behind. It's now a long way behind. It's not something he has to worry about. All he's got to worry about is what's happening in front of him. What's Duncan going to do? If there is something going to happen, I'm sure they've been told on the radio. Both of them will know exactly what they've got to do. And they're in third place, a little bit further back. You can see the Chevrolet, and quite a nice little gap between second and third there for Andy. So he knows exactly where he is, coming towards the end of this race. Here they come onto the straight. So we'll see now exactly what happens, whether there will be a move for Duncan to let him past, or Duncan will simply say, well, you know, I've come along here to help, and help I have, and I will take the win whatever happens. But I'm sure there will be Bert Mampire on the radio to say exactly what's going on, but they've gone past the start and finish for another lap, because we've been told now, looking at our timing screen, that it's now 11 laps. We started with 9 laps, then it went to 10, now it's gone to 11, and maybe they've decided that we'll give an extra 2 or 3 laps at the end of this race to have a racing finish to what's going on. But if there's a pass coming up, this is where it will probably be. There's a yellow flag. You cannot overtake under a yellow flag situation.
Well, that's all because of Nicola Larini's car, and the slippery surface flag is out as well. Maybe Larini got caught out on oil. Priaulx was shaping up there, wasn't he, though, for that pass? He won't particularly have known that those straight on into the barrier marks from Larini were there. The car was out of the way. So checkered flag then. This time round, it would seem green flags as they come down towards the Solitude S's. on this unique motor racing circuit in the World Touring Car Championship, the only street race of the year. They've had a variety of Grand Prix circuits and others, including the Roval, of course, at Pueblo in Mexico, and now the championship decided on the streets of Macau, so long one of the magnets for touring car drivers. Andy Priaulx chasing Duncan Heisman downhill towards Donna Maria, and then the no overtaking of the Melco hairpin. I don't think he'll pass before Fisherman's. If there is going to be a change, it'll be between Fisherman's and R, the last corner on the track before they get to the start-finish line. But again, he is right behind him as they head downhill towards the closing stages of the 2005 series. And Menu is getting a little closer, so if Heisman isn't careful and doesn't pick up the pace, then Priaulx might find himself a little worried in the final couple of corners. There's Andy's wife, as ever, watching intently and about to really explode. I remember seeing her at Silverstone when Andy claimed his first British Formula 3 win. She pretty much blew the roof off race control where she was standing and watching. They both lived and worked at Silverstone at the time, spent a year living essentially in a caravan at the circuit as they got the careers going there. Now the final couple of corners, her husband, the European Touring Car Champion, is already the world champion, but she wants to see him win his second and final race of the year. Heisman pulls out, does he, to defend? As Priaulx has a look out of Fisherman's, he can't do it. Is Heisman actually going to hold off his teammate as Priaulx tries to pass out of R? Is it going to be a photo finish? Come on, Andy! No, Heisman wins it, but the championship, the final championship battle, is won by Andy Priaulx. Was won the moment that Dirk Muller put his car in the barriers. There in the pale jacket is his father Graham, former British hill climb champion, who gave fatherhood and the inspiration to his son, not only to become a British hill climb champion of his own, but to go on and become a European and now a world touring car champion. Duncan Heisman wins again on the streets of Macau. He's turning into something of a family track. One of the last races that he didn't win was won by brother Patrick. Heisman, Priaulx, and in the revised results, Farfus given third place after Menu Chevrolet finished third on the road, close to being underweight in the scrutineering bay, and after the extra long distance of the race with all the safety cars, it was turned out to have just half a litre of fuel in the tank when there should be 3 litres under the regulations for sampling. He was disqualified, but that has been appealed by Chevrolet, and it would seem only fair that after the race was extended by several safety car laps, perhaps he ought to be allowed to keep that podium position, and particularly to keep Chevrolet on target and within the family. BMW taking the manufacturer's title, and an extraordinarily rude man in Parc Fermé having allowed team and family members in, shoving a woman out of the way, but Joe Priaulx not allowing that to get between her and her husband.
It's been an amazing, I don't know how long it's been since I finished the race, but probably feels like 10 minutes, but it's probably been 2 hours. So I'm just so pleased with all the goodwill I have from everybody here, and all the drivers were very pleased. The cooling down lap was amazing. Everybody congratulating me and waving at me, and well, you know, what an amazing experience.
So Andy Priaulx, the World Touring Car Champion 2005. Duncan Heisman wins again. There was no team orders to make him pull over. And there on the podium you see Alain Menu, the winner of the third place man on the road. Giuseppe Siro, the only independent to finish in the race. But it's Priaulx's race weekend, Priaulx's championship.
Well, that's it for the World Touring Car Championships in 2005. I hope you've enjoyed all the coverage here on Channel 4 in what's proved to be a fantastic season on the track, and one which has given us great drama from first race to last, with a world title for Britain thanks to Andy Priaulx. Well, until next time, it's goodbye from all of us.